Hi guys, how you doing today? I have such a fun project for you today. We are going to make resin paper. And we're also going to talk about mixing a cup of 2-part resin, not the, instant grat UV stuff, which is crazy good, but crazy expensive. We're doing the 2-part stuff, which is where, if you're new to resin, I feel you should really start there and learn to do it the long way first. Like they say, learn your technique first and then go break all the rules. So we're going to go from here, and this isn't a live video. You might think it is because I'm not shown, but I can't tell you. I had a terrible hair day today. I don't look so hot. I don't want to put makeup. I don't want to be shown today. So I got to get my hands and my beautiful resin paper. So I'm going to show you what I mean, okay? You start out with something like this, tissue paper. And I'm really partial to any kind of tissue paper that's got words on it. I just think I love that look. So I don't like these big block modern letters so much, but like this part here where it has like a tight face, this says some funny things though, so if you do that, you better read it first because sometimes you get some pretty strange stuff. But anyhow, that one looks all right, I think. But anyway, I like the letters. But another one that's really good is the Tim Holtz ones. And I don't think I have one over here, but that's okay. We have them on our website. We have this one, which is the beautiful birds. And then we have one that's all roses and stuff like that. And that's a real good one, too. That works good. And then we had, before, a long time ago, where is that piece? This one. This is my favorite in the world. This is the old 7 Gypsy stuff, which if you have any of this in your stash, you have gold, because they don't make it anymore. I begged them and begged them and begged them to make it again. I said, I will buy it in bulk. I don't know why people can't have it. It was great. No, we decided we're not. So anyway, I can't get it anymore, and I love it. And I have maybe 3 sheets left of it, and then that's all I got in the world. But this stuff resins up like gold. It's fantastic. And the reason it's like a yellow background is because it's sepia tone paper. So, which I love that because it looks like it's aged. So, but anyway, this is done. And on this end, it's heavier because I did it that way. I put more resin. And on this end, it's flimsier because I didn't. And then with this one is done. I just did this one last night. And this is a good texture. It's really good. But see this like plasticky stuff here on the back? That's all resin. The resin soaks through it. And it turns it see-through. Because it's not like this to begin with. The paper's like white. So you can still see the birds, and you can see there's like music notes and words and all that. I really, really love it. This came out like the bomb. Then this one is the Document. I think it's called Document. It's from Tim Holtz. And it's pretty cool, but it's really thinner somehow. And so when I went to peel it off the backing, because you have to put it like on this nice white garbage sack, a good heavy one. Don't get the cheap dollar store ones. Spend some money, get the good ones, the heavy ones. But when I peeled it off, it kind of got funky, and then it wasn't cured quite right this morning. It hadn't been long enough because I did it last night, so it picked up funny, but it's nice now. It's perfect now for whatever you want to do. So anyway, enough of that. You want to see how to do it, so I'm going to show you how it's done. To get this out of the way. I love this. I forgot how much I love resin. I haven't done a resin video for 7-8 years, I think, because Donna and I did some long time ago, and we got all crazy, and I think we put a few people off, and we had to take them down. I mean, nobody told us we had to. We just felt it was best. We just got too crazy. And I just never went there again, so it's time. It's time. Because this year, at the May workshop for Bissou Boutiques, we are doing resin, baby. We're doing resin and heavy gauge wire and sari ribbon embellished Sorry ribbon beads with embellishments. So it's going to be all mixed media all the way down the line. It's going to be great. So anyway, so what we have to do, first of all, is we have to mix our resin. And what you might want to do, you only have a limited window when you start. You mix your resin and stuff. So you probably want to have your paper and stuff cut and ready to go already. So I do. And another thing you're going to want to have ready is these little brushes. These little cheapy foam brushes, you know, you can go to a dollar store and buy them like 10 for $1 or something like that. Totally disposable. I have goobers of them down here. So you need some of these ready too. Okay, so here's your cup. And these cups are the Ice Resin cups. I use Ice Resin. It's kind of my go-to resin. I've used it for years. And simply because I have other types all over the place down here and I haven't done much with them yet. Ice Resin for me is the easiest one to use, so I recommend it's a good solid middle of the road resin, and it works. They say that you won't get bubbles or they gas off, but that's not completely true. You have to help it along. But anyway, so here's but it's a good resin, you know, you'll enjoy using it. So anyway, so it's two-part, like I was telling you. You get the part A, which is the resin. Down more?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Part A is the resin, and part B is the hardener. And now I just got a brain freeze, because one of these comes first. And I think it's part B, actually. I don't know. Hubby, there's a paper over there. Do you see it laying there right by the Ice Resin box?
Yep.
I'm just going to look really quick because I'm having a senior brain fart moment, excuse me. And I don't want to tell you wrong because I haven't done this for a while, and you just take for granted that you know because you've done it a bazillion times. And then you say, wait, so I just want to be sure I'm telling you right, and I'm not guessing. I do not want to guess.
So that comes inside the box?
Yes, you get them both in. Okay, you do part A resin to part B hardener. So that figures why they have A and B. Why would you do B first, right? Durr.
You don't know.
Anyway, but this is what comes in your kit. Okay, and we don't have any of this on the site right now, but in the past we have always had it on the site, and I'm going to get it back. These two bottles will make you about 4 of these cups, maybe a little bit more, full of resin to work with. And that's a lot of resin. In case you think it's not very much, it is a lot of resin. In fact, when I took the class, one of the reasons we made resin papers, because a lot of times after you're done pouring bezels and stuff, you have some left over. You don't want to waste it. So just get paper and start resining up your paper, and then you'll have that. So anyway, so I'm going to start, and I like these little tops that they have on them now. This is a new thing. The old ones didn't have that. So I put my tops on from my kit, and now I'm going to mix it. So what I need to do is I need to do 1-to-1 ratio, equal parts. And when I tell you equal parts, I mean equal parts. Don't do a whole lot more of one than the other. If you do have more of one than the other, you want to be the hardener, not the resin, because it won't sit up right. If you get too much resin in here, it won't sit up right. So you want to go for, I hope you can see this on here. This is 1 ounce here. These are the Ice Resin cups, and they are really good because a lot of the little cups that come with stuff, the little medicine cups, are only 1 ounce, and then you got to do 2 of them and mix them into a bigger cup. This is just better. You can do it all in 1 cup. So there's 1 ounce here, and then you go up to 2 ounces. So I'm going to go up to 1 ounce with my resin, my part A. Then I'm going to go up to 2 ounces with my part B hardener. And you're going to watch me do it now. So here I go. Here I go. And I'm just going to get her down in there. And I have to, you know, stop every so often and see how far up I am because I don't want to get too much in there.
Pretty much looks like glue when you're pouring it.
It does. Let's look at, it's pretty. This is kind of aqua color. And then some people get bent out of shape, you know, if they've had the Ice Resin or any resin for a while. The part B can tend to get a little yellow. And it doesn't mean anything. You should not get all worried about that. It does not mean that you have faulty resin and it's gone bad or whatever. The shelf life, as I remember it on Ice Resin, is about a year. So if you're going to buy it, you should probably go ahead and use it, right? Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's good till then. So you don't have to sweat it. Another thing too is make sure when you use your cup that you don't have a bunch of little floaties down there, because they're going to get in your project and you're not going to be happy.
You mean like dust?
Yeah, little.
Make sure the.
Yeah, some people, what they do is they'll get like. Have you ever seen those things that they used to have back, where it was like a big dome and it would cover stuff at a picnic, so that bugs wouldn't get in it and all that? If it's at a picnic. I'm sorry, I'm out of camera, but I'm trying to measure this just right, and I think I'm about there.
Yeah,
I think
like
I'm good.
Little drop.
Maybe a little drop more.
Maybe.
You do have to be very precise, and this is hard for me because I am not a precise measure of anything. I don't follow recipes. I just like slam it in there, you know. What do I want to do? I want to take this old glove and I want to wipe this off because I don't want to have that on there. Get that off before you close it. Okay. But I do use a recipe if I'm baking a cake or cookies or stuff like that, because I have found out very unhappily that if I don't, it's not going to work out. So it's the same thing with ice resin.
Like cookies.
Yeah, you have to measure, and this part's very precise. Now I'm putting the part B, that's just the hardener. You can see it is a lot more fluid. Okay, slow down. I'm getting to my mark. Can you see?
More liquidy.
Yeah, help me, hubby. Let me see.
You're almost there.
Yeah, I'm almost there. But if you get a little bit more of the hardener than you did the resin, you're okay. That's not going to hurt. You don't want a lot more, but I think we're good. One more drop?
There you go.
Okay, we're good?
Yep.
Are we a little maybe over?
No, I think you're like less than above the line.
I'm going to put just one more drop.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It won't hurt you to have just a teensy bit more hardener. Teensy, not a lot. But you don't want a teensy bit more resin, it'll throw it off. That I have found out from sorry experience. Now, we have to mix this. It's not ready to go yet. So now we have to mix it. And you probably see there's little bubblies in there. Little bubblies down in there. That's normal. And when we mix it, there's going to be a whole lot more. And then this is going to turn kind of opaque. But you mix it slowly. Like you're folding in batter, you know. Like when you're cooking. You fold it in. Slowly I turn. Step by step. Inch by inch. And if you remember that, you're old like me. Three Stooges.
Pretty much just take your time.
Yeah, and what you'll notice, I hate to make you guys wait for this because it's going to take about 2 minutes, but I'll talk to you about other facets of using resin while we do this. And so, but yeah, you're going to see when you get in here, see it's getting milky looking? Can you see that?
Cloudy?
Yeah, a little bit cloudy. And it's more chunky or thick in the middle. So you don't want to just leave that. You need to keep folding it and bringing it up. Don't get in there with your stick, your popsicle stick or whatever you're going to use, and like mix it like you will be so sorry, because it will be so full of bubbles.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And you can get them out, but why should you sit there messing around with that if you don't have to, right? So one of the best ways you don't have to is mix it slowly. Now what some people do to get their resin started, after they mix it up, they'll take one of those little cup warmers, you know, that you get at the dollar store for like $5, and they will sit it on there for just a very few minutes and heat it a little bit from the bottom. Or they'll put it under a hot lamp, you know, a task lamp. And you know, they're cheap lamps. I'm not talking about anything expensive. And that will kind of get it started going, thickening and setting here. But you don't want to walk away for 20 minutes and leave it like that, because one time I did it and I put it on the cup warmer and I forgot about it, and I came back, it was all set up. I couldn't use it. So that will kind of hurry it along a little bit. But you know, if you have a bunch of projects that you're doing and you're kind of new to it, and you say you want to decorate a bezel or something, you know, you don't really want to cure it a lot ahead of time because it gives you less time to work on your project. You don't want to do that. Another thing you want to do, in case you're worried about, oh, I'm going to make this resin and I'm going to pour it all over my stuff and have my project and be so happy with my project, then it's not going to set up. So that's why I don't like resin. I don't want to do that. I don't want that to happen to me. Well, I don't want it to happen to me either. But there's a couple little tips I can give you to prevent that. And the number one tip that I can think of, besides be sure that you mix your resin properly, like, you know, 1 part to 1 part, is you need to let it cure somewhere where it's warm. Not too warm, but like at least like in the 70s and not real humid. If it's real humid and it's much under like 70, 72, it'll start to cure. Oh, it'll cure, but it'll take days. It'll take a long time. I came down this morning. I did my resin paper last night about 8 o'clock at night because you need about 12 hours. They say 6 to 12. Some say 6 to 8. You need 12 hours as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I came down. It was tacky. I'm like, oh, no. This can't be. I know I mixed it right. I've done this too many times. I mixed it right. I know I did. And it's fresh product. It was right out of the box. It was, you know, not gotten old or anything. So I'm like, shoot. I'm like, well, let me take it up in the shipping area and put it on a tray table and put it right underneath our big resiner heater that we have overhead. Because it gets really warm there. I stuck it there. I get back in 5 minutes. It was curing fast. It needed some heat. But one thing you don't want to do, just in case you think it might work, let me tell you it doesn't. You never, a lot of people will take, once they have something made, like a bezel or whatever, and they will take a heat gun and go over the surface of it because it tends to bring the bubbles up to the top. And that's a good thing to do. It helps you to get rid of them. But you never want, if it's like partway cured and you think, oh, let me help this along, and then start running your heat gun over it, it will turn it to goo. It'll cure again if you get it somewhere warm, but it will turn it to goo. I mean, it's a mess. You don't want to do that. Don't do it. And how do I know? Because I forgot that little tidbit this morning. And I took my bezel and just, not thinking, just took it and started, you know, letting it have it. And I'm like, oh, you don't do this. And I'm like, oh, what a mess. So now I've got a lot of cleanup with it. You don't want that. Okay, so I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start resining paper. And I don't really have to do anything special to my paper to make it be resinable. I don't have to Mod Podge it first, which, like, if you're going to put an image down on the bottom of a bezel, you need to seal it first. And you do that with some kind of a thing like Mod Podge. It doesn't necessarily have to be Mod Podge, but something like that, you know, whatever it is that you got. I just get Mod Podge because everybody has Mod Podge.
But wouldn't you have to do it if you were doing like a picture of somebody?
Yes, yeah, but not on tissue paper like this, okay, because it's going to go clear anyway. It's going to go funky on you, but you want it to, okay? So, and it's going to go clear through it. So I'm going to do this one first so you guys can see this right in the middle. I get some on my, in fact, what I can do to speed this up, I just pour some in the middle there. And this is so nice and fresh. It just, and then just start dragging it out to the sides. Get it completely covered. If you want it to be thick and real plasticky when it's done, then put on thicker, do 2 coats maybe. But then just know that it's going to take longer to cure. But it's not a bad idea, because when you do it real thin and you go to peel it off here, because when you put it on here, when it's cured, you'll just peel it right off of here. It's like not sticky. It will not. It's fine. You just peel it right off. That's why you use this nice heavy white plastic. Don't like use leftover ones from the dollar store that they give you to take your stuff out. Don't do that. Go and buy some and just reserve them for when you do resin, and you will be happy. And yeah, sometimes it'll lift up a little bit, so you have to. And then here's another little point. You see I've got a wrinkle in it. I don't probably want to resin over that wrinkle because, unless you don't care, but I mean, it will probably, and I know this is kind of getting off camera a little bit, but I don't want it to be on the wrinkle because it will make it stick up a little bit. It will take on the character of the wrinkles in the back. And another thing too with this, you will get some bubbles with it. This one looks really good. There's hardly any in it. But it's easy to get bubbles in it. So if that happens to you, that's when you're done, go get your heat gun. I'm going to pick this up and move it over so I can do another one where you can see it. I normally would not do that, but you're not going to be able to see it if I don't do that. Now I've got other stuff. Oh, now I've got stuff sticking in it. Ooh, that could be interesting. I think I'll leave it. This, you just really play. There's no wrong, right, no wrong, no nothing. Just, you know, so long as it cures on you and you like how it looks, you're fine. Okay, so I poured some on there. I'm just going to start dragging it out. And you don't want to do it too fast either, because then the tissue might start, you know, coming up with you, coming up with the brush.
This doesn't have any smell to it either.
This isn't bad. This is not bad. I have to say, Ice Resin is good that way. It's not stinky like for example, Cerulean. You guys know about Cerulean. I've done some videos about it. It's the product that Swarovski makes, where you can, it's like the crystal clay stuff, but it's way better because it's not as tacky. And it costs about the same. In fact, I just ordered a bunch more of it today. But anyhow, it stinks, and it's resin. It's a resin product. It stinks and it's resin. But, you just, if it really bothers you, put a mask on, by all means. People say, oh, do I need to use a mask if I use resin? Well, it can never hurt. I happen to know I'm not allergic to it, and it doesn't bother me, but then, I don't use it day after day after day. I might come down, if I'm using resin regularly in a body work or something, I might come down and use it maybe one day a week. So, I'm fine.
I have a question. If you want any embellishments on the paper,
you can do that.
Little glitterings and
throw glitter right down in there, baby.
You got it.
That's all you got to do. Just throw some. You know what? We might even do that because we can dump resin straight out on this white plastic bag and do that, and throw our inclusions down into it. See, it's going right through the paper. So it will plasticize both sides. Let's see what else we got here we can do. And then we'll do that, Javi. We'll go get some, I got some little sparklies right over here. So we'll do that. Now what I have here is I have an old postcard. And this one's really doesn't have much value. It's not even in good shape. So I thought, let's see what happens with it if we put some resin on it and see what happens. Now they tell you the best stuff for doing resin paper is the tissue paper is very good, and also old rag paper, which you will find in books that are pre-1920. Sometimes newer ones, but they're older books. But if you do that, I'll just tell you something as a person who did a lot of books when I did General Line Antiques, and I love paper, and I did a lot of paper ephemera and books. Book lover, be sure your book has no value. Be sure you haven't picked up a first edition. All you have to do is look in the front. You'll be able to tell if that book is a first edition, even if it's not a real popular book. It's worth money. Do not start tearing it up, please. If that book has colored plates inside, meaning colored pictures, leave it alone. It's worth some money. Just be careful. Go look it up. Everything's just a Google away. That came out good.
Yeah, it did.
Let's just see how it dries. That'll be interesting. I don't know if it's going to plasticize as much in the back because it's such thick paper. This is a little bit thinner. This is a very old one too. Oh, look, here's an old postage stamp. That could be interesting. A 1-cent postage stamp. Where do you get that? Look at this. It went to West Virginia in the year 1900. This is 120 years old.
Well,
this piece of paper is 120 years old. Wow. I almost feel guilty doing anything to it, but I just don't really think it has a lot of value. So, sadly, not everything old is worth tons of money. Some is. And that's just it. You have to learn what is. If that's being a responsible repurposer, whether you're making jewelry or anything you're doing, before you start altering it, take time to find out what you have first. Now you can see I'm getting bubbles in this. It's plainer. More plainer, whatever. This one would be a good one to throw glitter down into.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you want to do the honors and get me some glitter?
Yes.
Open some glitter for me, and we'll just randomly throw it down in. I did this 30 years ago when all there was the old Envirotex resin, which they still make, but I don't like it. And okay, you want to open that? That's embossing powder. This one, that one will work. The aqua one, I think, it's got some embossing powder in. I don't think it'll hurt anything though.
No,
I really want some straight glitter.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
But there's some over there.
Really?
Yeah, over on my rack. There's some of it's iridescent. That's a beautiful coat. So it'll give you kind of a violet cast.
Iridescent.
Yeah, if you can find it.
Is it over here with the luminaire?
It's yeah, it's sitting right on that ledge there, I think, over there. Yeah, see if you can find it, Javi, because I can't come over. I'm gonna put my postage stamp down there too. We'll resin that. That'll be interesting. That'll make a nice charm. In fact, I'll just take that. I'll just drag that right out to the corner so I don't waste any space. We don't want to waste our resin. So I'm going to go over this a little bit heavier than normal. I do. Can't find it. Well, we'll just use what we got over here. It'll work. It'll work. Don't worry, honey. It's okay. I should have brought it over here next time. Alrighty. So here's what. Tell you what I'm. Okay, I'm going to dump this down in here. Drizzle it. Oh, this is pretty. I don't know. I might like this better than just straight glitter. This stuff is from Stampendous. It's a lot like the ice enamels, which it doesn't seem like they make them anymore for some reason. I love that product. So I'm glad there's this because it's a lot like that. Boy, I really loaded that up, didn't I? I really loaded that up. So let's take a toothpick and drag through that. Oh, there's a bubble coming. Okay, drag through this. And just kind of pull it out and get it a little bit more random. Yeah, this isn't quite like glitter. It kind of wants to stick to itself. That's okay because, we're just doing something kind of funky. And that's the thing I love about mixed media. Nothing has to be perfect. In fact, it's the imperfections that make it better so many times, really. So I'm just going to leave this alone, and I'll find a way to use it. Only thing is now I have it on my postage stamp, and I didn't want it on there. But yeah, that's a 1-cent postage stamp from all that time. You know what? I should have probably looked to see if that postage stamp was worth anything. It would be worth as much as if it wasn't. Once you lick it and put it on something, it's not worth as much. But I should have checked that.
Oh, really?
I should have checked that. Oh, yeah. I should have checked that. It's probably not. I would imagine it's rather common. I hope not. So anyway, we got that. So I'm going to just take him and move him over there, And then I won't need to take and run anything over that because I've got so much stuff down in there. It'll just, take it. So it'll be fine. I think, too, I probably can't do it, though, because I've got resin on my fingers. Maybe I can pick it up with a toothpick. Yeah. This is a piece of... A few weeks ago, we did something, and we had little pieces of resin paper. I think it was when we did the pearl bracelet, and we were doing tissue deck. Yeah. I'm just going to take these little pieces and throw them down and see what they look like, So use for everything, right? Okay, that's good. So now what I'm going to do, I'll need to pour a little bit more resin over top of that. We need to wrap this up. So what we're going to do, the last thing we're going to do is I'm just going to dump this resin on here, and we're just going to see what happens. Oh, there was one thing I did want to try. I forgot. This is cork paper. Have you guys ever seen cork paper? They make this out of cork. And sometimes those cheap tote bags that you can buy, they're made out of this.
Oh.
Yeah. So I just want to see what happens. Why not? We have plenty of resin left. I just want to see what happens. You know, because this will make it kind of plasticky, and you could cut it. You know, so long as you don't get it too thick, it will be easy to cut. And maybe we'll make some good components, you know. Yeah, I just tried this. I saw one of my suppliers had this stuff and they were clearing it, and I didn't have to buy like half a case of it, you know, or anything. So let me get some of that and see. And I really haven't done anything with it yet. And then, so when I was dragging stuff out here today to see, you know, what we could work on, I said, let me get that and see what happens. There's getting some bubbles in it, but you know what? I don't mind. I don't mind. And those pieces that I did yesterday, there are bubbles too. I don't mind. It matters more when you have, you know, say like you're doing a mold, like one of those crystal ball molds, you know, that you have a sphere and you put something on top of it, and you know, stuff like that.
It's like you don't want
you don't want bubbles in that, unless you're trying to make a controlled bubble one, which we have the old ones from West Germany. Those are resin. They left the bubbles in because it's cool. Embrace imperfection. Yeah, this is going to be kind of thick when it comes out. But I want to leave just enough so we can just spill it all over the paper over here and throw stuff down in it. And then what will happen is when this gets cured sometime tomorrow, I'll start taking pictures and doing stuff with it. And you will see that on probably the newsletter if you signed up for my newsletter. On my website, we have a newsletter. You really should sign up for that because all the insider stuff is on that newsletter. You'll find out what's on sale first, what's the deal first, you know, because sometimes we run out. Sometimes I have a limited amount of stuff. So you should get that and read it. Plus, I feature other people's work and I tell stories. And I mean, it's not just a sales blast. So you want to go to the site. And also, too, if you sign up at the website, beastboutiques.com, the website will give you a coupon for 15% off on your first order, which isn't shabby. So yeah, go do it. Because here's the thing: if you get the newsletter and you don't like it, or you don't have time for it, or it's not interesting to you anymore, so unsub. It's easily done. You just go to the unsub link and click, and you're out of there, baby. You can come back later if you want or not. It's up to you. Should subscribe to that, and then you'll know.
So what are you doing over there?
I'm just going to throw some stuff down in there
Okay.
and see what happens. We're going to make it kind of clear. This is where I started years ago. I'd have some resin left, and I would throw it on heavy-duty watercolor paper. Is what I used to do. Now, I have something interesting. I don't know how this is going to be, but what the hey? None of this stuff is expensive, so. This is something new for us. I'm just starting to work on. This is called mermaid sand. And what it is it's mica, teeny tiny mica chips, teeny tiny beads, teeny tiny this and that and the other thing that are in here. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. Now, when this is done, it's going to have a lot of dimension. So, you know, it won't be all down into the resin because we just ran out of resin. That's the only thing.
Maybe you can always try to flatten it.
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now before we go bye-byes. I'll leave that kind of hanging out because I got resin all over the top of it, so it'll glue it shut. That's not good. So I'm going to take my, put this over here. I'm going to take my toothpicks. There's a little heart. And I'm just going to kind of move it around where I want it to be. But yeah, it'll kind of have, when this dries, it'll kind of have the feeling like of a druzy stone.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It
will.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pick this piece up and transfer it because there's not enough resin there to hold it. It's a little bit weak on the resin in there. But yeah, I just, kind of move it around, see, it's an experiment. Once you do it a few times, you'll know more about, where you want to place things. There's little seed beads in here and just all those beautiful mica chips and some little biwa type pearls, but they're simulated. They're not real plastic. It's fun stuff. And then what I could do, I don't know how this is going to look, but I just can't stand it. I have to find out. I'm going to just dribble a little of this stuff on the edge here and see how it looks. Oh, that's pretty. But you know what? You got to be careful, because if you put too much, you're going to cover up all your pretty mermaid sand.
Just need enough.
Just enough. Put around the edges maybe, and here and there.
There you go.
Just accent.
Like to fill up the cracks.
Yeah. I'm thinking Javi's liking this. She wants to go home and do it. She probably will, and she'd be good at it. Put it with her wire. I put it with my wire.
Why not?
Okay, now that's full of resin, but it'll cure and it'll be fine. So I'm just going to move this around just a little bit more, and we'll be done. So what do you think, guys? Is this fun or what? Yeah. I'll have some resin soon. But, you know, it's not hard to find resin. Resin is everywhere. You probably have some already. And if you bought it and you have not used it because you were afraid of it, cut that out. Don't be afraid of it. You're missing out by not trying it, you know. When you stay with the more primary type things like diamond glaze, which still has its place. We sell diamond glaze at the shop, at the site. We always do. But you just need to take it a step farther and go to 2-part. And you don't have to worry, because here's the thing. If it doesn't cure for you, you can just make another cup of resin and pour over top of that. And generally the second coat will cure and you'll be fine. Or you could use a product called Gel de Soleil and take it out in sunlight. And that'll cure it hard as a rock and quick. Or you have the UV option. You can put UV on top of it. It'll be fine. Once it's cured, but it's still tacky and it's not finishing up for you, then go ahead and put the UV on it and stick it in your light box. But you know, with UV, you can do it with sunlight, but it's best to put it in a light box. So, anywho, that's all I know about that for today. Actually, I know a lot more, but I'm not going to tell you today. You'll have to come back, and we'll do this again. And I'll let you know how these go. So, you guys have a wonderful weekend. This is Friday here, February 21st, 2020. And we'll have more fun with resin as the days go by. Thanks for watching. It was great to be with you. Bye-bye.
Bye.